Valomogulus, Valodahirus. All men must die, all men must serve. All right, so this is my day 5. This is about my third time trying to do this video. I don't know. I've been having feed problems, but we're going to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, and then I'm going to briefly touch on what I consider to be fake post-traumatic stress disorder. So post-traumatic stress disorder is what occurs when your body has been reconditioned to respond a specific way under specific conditions that you consider to be a problem for you. So a good example of post-traumatic stress disorder would be someone who goes overseas, and then when they come back, every time a loud sound goes off, they immediately get down and they like duck down. And I mean, for everybody else, that's really unusual because we're used to there being loud sounds, but we don't expect that it means anything. However, if you were like overseas or you were in combat, if you heard a loud sound, something just exploded, something went boom, shrapnel was going to fly, or bullets were flying. So it was important there for you to get down so you could survive. And that's why it's called post-traumatic stress disorder, because you've been through a traumatic experience, you've been through a different kind of experience, and now what you've been conditioned for in that experience doesn't quite match up with your normal day-to-day life. And PTSD is a major cause of people committing suicide. It used to be called shell shock because once it was over, people had all kinds of signs and symptoms. Like some people had anxiety, some people had depression, some people had night terrors, that's like really bad dreams. Some people had flashbacks and hallucinations where they have like a psychotic break and they are wherever they were previously as opposed to right here with you. My ex-wife had this actually. Like whenever she'd hear firecrackers, she'd like duck down and get on the table, curl up into a ball. Me, I was kind of a class act. I get down with her and I curl up with her too. It was okay. So anyway, post-traumatic stress disorder. You can find more information about it online at like mayoclinic.com. But yeah, it's a real thing. It's a serious thing. And all you have to do to deal with it is just talk about it usually. If talking isn't enough, obviously there are other treatment options. Now, that's a real situation. That's something that people really deal with. But then that's real PTSD. And then there's fake PTSD. And that feeds into this notion of a PC culture, like politically correct. There are these people out there who feel that if you say something that disagrees with what they say, that this quote unquote is triggering to them. And whenever something triggers them, they want you to give them a trigger warning, like a heads up that you're about to talk about something controversial that they might not agree with. Now, on the face of things, this doesn't sound all that bad, except that people take these things to extremes and they start to treat themselves like a special class of person just because something bad happened to them. And I don't agree with this because something bad has happened to pretty much everybody, although they generally don't talk about it because they've generally moved beyond it. Like me, for example, I've been married and divorced and I've deployed. Yeah, I've actually seen somebody who's dead. That kind of messed with me. I didn't complain too much about it though because, it happened. It was over. But yeah, pretty much everybody has been through something traumatic or something bad or something that messed with them. But the thing is, these problems, they are personal problems. And the reason they are personal problems is they don't generally affect other people. They affect you. And you expecting everybody else to like bow down for you or treat you special just because of your personal problem is a little bit ridiculous. It's completely impractical. I mean, yeah, we can see that you might have an issue going on, and I get that you have an issue going on, but if we have like a mission to do, or we have a thing that we're trying to accomplish, or we're at work, then your personal problems, they're your personal problems, and you need to find a way to handle them. It's take it, let's say somebody got raped, right? Okay, you got raped. So it's like, do I need to give you a trigger warning every time I'm about to talk about rape? Well, no, not really, because all kinds of people talk about this all the time. No one's specifically targeting you or trying to hurt your feelings, but just because you're offended by it, that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else needs to treat you special. And people need to understand that. Because it's gotten to a place where on some colleges and campuses and universities, if someone talks about an idea that they don't disagree with, and this is generally at the liberal universities, if like a conservative person comes to speak there, they'll rush in, they'll blow whistles, they'll make noise, they'll scream and yell and holler, all because they want to silence ideas that they don't agree with. Or the ultimate, they'll just walk out And then they'll go to what they call a safe space. And that's like a place that's quiet and has music and there's bubbles and there's Play-Doh and there's crayons. So they can calm themselves down from their so-called PTSD that they've experienced because someone presented an idea that they disagreed with. And me, I mean, it's pretty pansy and pussified to me. I don't know if that's politically correct, but I don't particularly care. Like, if someone disagrees with me, okay, they disagree with me. I will present my case. They can present their case. And if they present information that I was unaware of or that changes my perspective on things, I like that. Like, if you can prove me wrong, I'm impressed. If you can prove me wrong, then I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. I mean, that's the whole reason people talk in the first place, to exchange ideas. This is, and I know we're already political, but this is why people make such a big deal over calling Islamic terrorism, because honestly, that's what it is. And people kind of brush over it. People like to brush over that little Islamic part. It's like, no, this is entirely from that book. This is entirely from that ideology. It's being used to support it. Yeah, everybody knows that Christians had their dark times too, but Christians are over their dark times at this point. And there's still the KKK running around. There's still some extreme people running around. But for the most part, Christians have, calmed the fuck down. Muslims, not so much right now. Anyway, that's my thing. Just PTSD, kind of a big deal. Talk to people about it. And PC culture, not really helpful. It's more important that you be able to say what you mean than to worry about whether or not you're offending somebody. Well, anyway, let's get on with the show. 22 push-ups. And we'll talk about some other topic tomorrow. I think I will do signs and symptoms of suicide. Oh, one other thing. The next person I'm calling out for this is Terrell Yeager. Nobody's been taking these challenges from me, but you know what? Whatever.